over one Siege Link here, back with game 5. I keep barely remembering the game, the games. I don't know why. But yeah, they're gonna get one revive here, and they're gonna choose FlreBird. Doesn't surprise me too much. I definitely knew it was gonna be FlreBird or Teach. It's gonna be a PBT. If he does the same build, I just hope he builds Stalkers a bit earlier, because the build I think is fine. Just going, I actually like early Blink, because Blink counters medevac drops very well. They just can never retreat, and if you're in good position, they can never really drop either. But with how few Stalkers Magnath had, it wouldn't really do much. So in the top right, with the pink probes, it is Magnath. In the bottom left, the yellow Terran this time around, FlreBird. Actually, it could be flame or fire because it's FLIRE, so it's not really either. Sadly for Magnath, he's going to be going on Zen. Usually, the clans or teams like designated Zen killer. just get it out of the map hold. But I'm definitely not going to be playing this time around, and quite frankly, I don't think I need to be. Magnath might be playing a bit poor in some areas, but that was only really one game I think I saw him play poor, and that was about it. Like, last game he played really solid. There was one small mistake with just leaving his probe kind of unattended, which kind of let his opponent know about it. But then again, he might not have realized he was in vision. Looks like he might be starting to do a Reaper wall off, which is quite ambitious. Well, first of all, he's definitely going to need a second pylon here, because that's not going to happen with just that one pylon. It's going around and around and around. I would love to see him gas block here. Even just like pylon block here actually does something, because even though it doesn't block a Terran player, you can actually see all the buildings right here. And usually you're just going to put like factory, starport right here, and then just swap over for add-ons. Deny that CC a little bit. Yep. Gas block against me would definitely do a lot more than against most people. The opponent can still go for like Hellions, but Hellions in TVP are really bad. So just spending 75 minerals to prevent the opponent from being able to go into tanks, cyclones, or heavily delay like Cloak Banshee or anything like that is very nice. So far, just yeah, there's a second pylon. I was about to say just one pylon, but let's say where's the second one at? It's not proxied. He's gonna send this in. Not really much reason to send it in again. Sure, you see, I guess the factory timing, but I mean, you know there's a factory gonna be coming up. And Twilight. So it looks like it's gonna be the same build again. Hopefully, we see some earlier gates, because the gateways were very late last time with this build. He's gonna go for a Depth Stalker again. Looks pretty much mirrored since the last time, except I think this factory is actually quite delayed since the last time. Because I remember when he had a Stalker and an Adept. Like, once his Stalker got across the map, he already had 4 Hellions that actually managed to kill the Adept and the Stalker with some Marine help. Looks like, nope, he's not going to float over. He's going to go immediately into Tech Lab. So this is the first difference between their last game. Going to bring some probes down to evenly mine it out. Could pull some more because he's about to overmine his bases. Unless he has them rallied down there. Yeah, rallying is something that, like, usually what I'll do is I'll pull like a bunch of workers down, so I'll like stop mining for a short chunk of time and then like restart mining, rather than rally over. Because when you rally over like this, the small problem is that if you like box all your units and then move command across, it's very likely you're gonna catch up a random probe and just sacrifice a random probe for nothing. Yeah, Gateway Twilight Rowboat. This actually reminds me a lot of Lizlot's build. And Lizlot's build is a pretty unsafe build. kind of surprised he's actually mining that out. Because just having this as the only path in is quite nice. I guess against Terran, not so much. Because you can just siege up outside of it. But then again, he's got Blink, and I mean, if you really want to, you could go for like Phoenix to lift them up, but that's not really something that's in the current meta. Kills a few probes. He's gonna have a random Cyclone. Yeah, Cyclone doesn't really do too much against Protoss, because you just kite one of the units that locks onto it back. Also, he could blink on top of the Cyclone right now, but he's not. Yeah, he could have very easily killed that Cyclone. Like, Blink pretty much hard counters Cyclones, unless you have, like, as much Cyclones as you do Stalkers, which is pretty much never going to happen. You're pretty much always going to have, like, 2 to 3 Stalkers for, like, the whole game compared to the amount of Cyclones. Like, Battle Mech against Protoss just generally isn't good unless the opponent goes greedy and doesn't have enough Stalkers to do with, like, the initial push, and then you can keep up, like, a decent Cyclone number good enough. Because you can just, the ones that get locked on, you can just blink them away or move them away, and then just blink on top of the Cyclones, and the Cyclones basically can't shoot. They can shoot, but they'll do like very, very little damage to the Stalkers, and the Stalkers will just obliterate them. Left that Cyclone there, a bit poor. But yeah, it's not pushing the issue. Magnath played pretty greedy, and he's not pushing it. He sees that there's been a third, and still no third base, and that's worrisome. Also, these E-bays are quite unnecessary. Like, unless you think your opponent's gonna mine these out, and you want to like full wall with maybe some SC with like some supply depots here, there's no reason to put these eBays in such a vulnerable spot. If you're gonna use them to wall off, why not wall off here? Okay, he's gonna build a CC behind. I was a bit worried about that. It's usually about siege link timing. You move out and then build a CC behind it, and then. But I wouldn't rally across. I definitely wouldn't rally across. I would rally to defend. Not sieging up the tanks though. Slow zealots though. But yeah, the tank siege is just wicked late. And yeah, that's why you don't rally units across. Because they'll end up, if you lose the engagement, they'll just get picked off one by one and will not do any damage. I think for the most part, when you rally across the map, it should be when you have a pretty big lead, and you really want to end the game there. You don't want to give the opponent any breathing room. So that even if you trade, it's going to be trading army for army. He's got an observer in decent position here. Could be, let's say could be a little lower, but this is actually perfect. Like, he's not really cut off much vision at the top at all. So overall supply, about equal on workers, about equal on army. But third base, quite a lot earlier for Magnath, so he's mining out his bases a lot more evenly. Especially because Terran has mules, which mine out bases a lot quicker. Like, if you ever see someone on equal workers and it's later into the game, or equal bases and it's equal workers and it's later into the game, the Terran's gonna be pretty behind because their bases are gonna be mined out like quite quickly. Double pylon can only make me think that there's gonna be a nexus there. I don't necessarily see why you would want to build these many pylons. Like, I don't get why people build like these 2 pylons right here just randomly, because you want them to warp in defensively, but if you're going to warp in defensively, you should never warp in right when your opponent's attacking it. So unless you want like a decent just warping position in general, then you don't need 2 pylons. You can just have 1 pylon. It makes sense if you're making like shield batteries or something. You don't want them to be depowered. Shield batteries or photon cannons or something, but oh boy. Okay, here's a. Hold up, did he not have Storm? I could have sworn I just saw Storm in the. Nope, apparently not. I could have sworn I saw those High Templars have Storm. But yeah, that was. He should be lucky his opponent didn't just attack him, because without those Archons, he wouldn't have won that engagement. He does have charge. He's not shooting and moving the best. In fact, he's not doing it all right now. It looks like he's going to push this back, but he's going to be left to basically just Colossus. So as long as he just makes Vikings, which I doubt he will, he should be able to win this pretty easily. Especially if he keeps Magnath keeps warping in Zealots. I mean, pylons here make sense if you're gonna. Okay, there's the Nexus. I was about to say, like, where's the Nexus? Because like it makes sense if you're gonna, you know, to have them for vision, but you have the observer right here. So why have the observer right here? You could at least move the observer. In fact, I would love to see it like in the observer mode, like right here to scout for that base. Yeah. He keeps rallying to a random spot mid-map. It's not even a good spot mid-map. Like, if the opponent just keeps his units here, he can see all of this. Or even if he just moves down that ramp, he's going to immediately start shooting at them, and the Terran units aren't going to shoot back. He's not going for Storm at all. And he's only got one Forge. Yep, only one Forge. So he's not going for armor at all, so he's just going straight into damage. You have Glass Cannon. It looks like he just has too much, though. Even though he doesn't have much anti-air, his opponent didn't make any Vikings. He went Liberators, and Liberators don't do good against Protoss, generally speaking, unless you have quite a lot of them, and you have plenty of bio to support. Like, support units in general, like Siege Tanks, Liberators, Colossus, Disruptors, they don't do anything without, gateway units, bio, something to buffer for them. Okay, didn't get hit by that big Disruptor shot. He might be able to hold this, but it's 3 bases to 5. Magnath's been going pretty greedy behind this, and his opponent hasn't actually scouted that out. In fact, I don't even think he went for a single drop this game. Like, let's look at his vision. He's got pretty much no vision in the main. He did see that base. He did see that. And he knows that there's a base here as well. There's no situation ever you would build these 2 bases and not build this. Unless you want to really, really mind game your opponent. However, Magnath is floating a lot of minerals. He's not micring and macring behind it. But, I mean, he doesn't really need to here. Like, look at the supply. It's 44 to 155. And that's going to do it. JinLair PinkWings wins pretty convincingly. Magnath had one decently poor, I think it was game 1, in terms of his decision making and his defending. Was struggling a little bit, but didn't really phase him for the games after that. So that'll do it for this week. I hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you guys next week.